Hello YouTube, and welcome to the first video in the series of Music Reviewed. I'm MJ Texas, and today we'll be taking a journey down the road of discussing one of the most underrated musicians in the music industry, Ronnie Radke. Now, when I say he's underrated, I do not mean he's unpopular by any means. What I do imply is that he does not get the full creative recognition he deserves. Just a little word before we start off. For those of you who haven't seen the channel's introductory video, I'll add a link to the video in the corner of the screen. So if you want to have a clear understanding or idea of what the channel is about, feel free to click on the link and go check out that video. That said, let's dive in, shall we? Ronald Joseph Radke, better known as Ronnie Radke, is a singer, songwriter, rapper, musician, and record producer in the US. Most people that know Ronnie knows him from his involvement in the bands Escape the Fate and Falling in Reverse, the latter being his current band and passion. Ronnie is the middle child of father Russell Radke and a mother whose name is unknown. His other siblings are older brother Anthony James Radke and younger brother Matthew Radke. He is currently dating former WWE wrestler Saraya Jade Beavis, commonly known as Paige. He has one daughter, Willow Grace Radke, age 7. Ronnie was born on 15 December 1983 in St. Rose Hospital in Las Vegas, Nevada in the US. His mother abandoned him at a young age due to complications with drug abuse. He grew up in a financially struggling household consisting of himself, his father Russell, his grandmother, and his elder brother Anthony. Ronnie had an interest in music since a young age and learned to play the guitar and piano as a young boy. The first song Ronnie could play on guitar was Damn It by Blink-182. Ronnie left home at a young age to play in a band he formed with a friend. The band's name was 3.0. During this time, he lived with his friend and his friend's mother. After 3.0, he returned home to his father and re-entered school, after which he dropped out once again. Ronnie joined another band called Lefty. During this time, he met Max Green from the band Almost Heroes. They ended up forming the band True Story, which recorded a demo containing the track This Is Not the End. Ronnie started screaming in the band after being inspired by a rock band called Thrice, then started to sing, slowly forming Escape the Fate. Ronnie started dating Sally Watts in 2009, and the relationship ended in 2011 with accusations against him for physical abuse. He was arrested on 6 August 2012 and was soon released on bail. Ronnie eventually ended up dating model Chrissy Henderson in 2012, with whom he ended up having his daughter Willow. They were engaged, but sadly it wasn't meant to be. In 2013 they broke up not long after Willow's birth. This would be the same year he lost his elder brother Anthony due to a tragic traffic collision. On 31 May 2013, Ronnie launched his YouTube channel, where he would release solo projects to this date, often featuring or collaborating with other various artists. In 2014, he would start dating TV showgirl Jenna King, which lasted about a year, ending in 2015. Shortly after, he would start dating reality star Caroline Burt. This relationship also lasted about a year, ending in 2016. 2 years later, he would find love again in Paige. They are still dating to this date, and have been reporting as being a healthy relationship between the two, bringing some stability to Ronnie relationship-wise. He even ended up featuring Paige in the music video for Falling in Reverse's latest edition, I'm Not a Vampire Revamped, in February earlier this year. Ronnie's rise to fame began with the band Escape the Fate. In 2004, While being involved in True Story, Ronnie was contacted by Brian Money after being referred by Max Green, fellow band member at the time. Brian was looking for musicians to start a band with, and ended up choosing Ronnie as the vocalist. Thus, Escape the Fate was born. The band began to play in the post-hardcore scene in Las Vegas. They recorded the demo Escape the Fate EP during that year. This would be Ronnie's first professional work in his career, but certainly not his last. In early 2006, after winning a radio contest judged by band My Chemical Romance in September 2005, they signed with Epitaph Records. This would officially launch Ronnie's career as a musician. In May, they started recording for their debut album, Dying Is Your Latest Fashion. This album would be produced by a friend of Ronnie, Michael Elvis Basket. Basket would assist Ronnie in production of his works till this very day. The album was released in September 2006. In Ronnie's run as vocalist for the band built up success and reputation alike, leading up to one of the few bands from the early 2000s still active today. In late 2006, Ronnie decided to start a new band, and with the help of his friend Nathan Schofler, he formed the band Behind the Walls. The band would later be renamed to what it's known as today, Falling in Reverse. Ronnie had a rough upbringing and several trials throughout his life, but one of the roughest would be his fall from Escape the Fate and the events leading up to it. On 6 May 2006, Ronnie had a fight with Marcel Colquitt, with 6 to 8 individuals involved in the fight. These events led up to 18-year-old Michael Allen Cook being shot 3 times by Chase Rader, which ended up killing the young man. Rader was arrested and charged with murder, but the DA refused to prosecute Rader, as it was determined Rader acted in self-defense. Marcel and Ronnie, however, were criminally charged with their involvement in young Cook's death. Before Marcel could stand trial, he committed suicide. On 18 January 2008, Ronnie pleaded guilty to battery with substantial bodily harm in relation to Cook's death, and subsequently was ordered to be placed under probation for 5 years. Not long, and Ronnie ended up violating the probation terms and ended up serving 2.5 years in prison. The band members of Escape the Fate felt that the prison sentence was the last straw and fired Ronnie from the band. He was soon after replaced by Craig Mabbitt, still in his possession as lead vocalist for Escape the Fate today. Since release, Ronnie had a run-in with the law 3 times. First was in 2012 with the Sally Watts incident. Second time was on 29 September 2012 at the end of a performance at Six Flags, when he threw 3 microphone stands into the audience, injuring 2 people in the process. Ronnie publicly apologized for his actions, saying that his actions were not in anger and that he hadn't intended to hurt anyone. The third case was when Ronnie filed a lawsuit against a girl named Caitlin Boswell after she accused him of sexual assault during the aftermath of a concert on 3 June 2015. There was no evidence towards her claim, but rather more evidence against it, and in proper fashion, Ronnie retaliated on 10 June 2015 with a defamation lawsuit. Ronnie, though imprisoned, never gave up on his dreams and continued writing music. Some of the songs he wrote in his time in prison would become the foundation of his success to come. Ronnie was released from prison in December 2010 after serving his 2.5-year sentence. Old friend and guitarist for Falling in Reverse, Derek Jones, would be the first one to welcome him back. This established the bond and brotherhood between the two of them in the years to come. Ronnie has since his release admitted to having anger issues and issues with substance abuse. However, he made an effort to right his wrongs and become a better person not just for himself, but also for his daughter Willow. This played a major part forward on his road to success. Astonishingly, Ronnie did not let what happened stop him from moving onward, and he got right back to recording. Falling in Reverse released their first single in 2010 called Raised by Wolves. This was just the beginning, and on 26 July 2011, the band released their debut studio album, The Drug in Me Is You. The album was a huge success and gained gold in the US. The album included songs like The Drug in Me Is You and I'm Not a Vampire, which were hits and would become long-term favorites between the fanbase. Ronnie would later end up reprising these songs as The Drug in Me is reimagined in 2020 and I'm Not a Vampire revamped in 2021. Ronnie eventually made peace with Escape the Fate and even forgave his mother after meeting her for the first time again after a show in 2014 where she came to the show to watch him perform. Ronnie and Derek would end up being the only original members of Falling in Reverse to stay members of the band. This came to a tragic end after the sudden loss of Derek on 21 April 2020. Derek's cause of death is still unknown. Soon after Derek's passing, Ronnie released a single, Carry On, which was recorded in 2017 and was intended to be part of the album Coming Home, but was never released. This song now serves as inspiration and strength, especially with Ronnie's loss of his beloved friend. Ronnie might have had a rough beginning and several hurdles thrown at him throughout his life, but he stands as an inspiration to musicians and listeners alike to not give up on your dreams and not to let your circumstances or your past define your future and who you are. He is still making music to this day and has even been a personal inspiration to me in my life. Thank you for taking this journey with me in discussing the often misunderstood yet brilliant artist. Next, we will be looking through the Falling in Reverse trilogy, consisting of Losing My Mind, Losing My Life, and Drugs. The first one will be released on Saturday. If you like this video, please consider showing some love by liking and subscribing. Leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions on following artists or music you want reviewed, and I will see you next time.